The Democrats are busily right now trying to find enough votes to pass some of the things they couldn't get passed before the election, and I hope for the sake of the country they fail, that they're not able to find the votes to, for example, attempt to pass a monster spending bill that would have a zillion amendments in it and all kinds of terrible programs the country rejected in the election. They're also working to there's obviously a tremendous amount of pressure, as there should be, on the Democrats who control the Congress until January 3rd to keep everybody's taxes the same, to stop this massive tax increase that's going to go into effect on January 1st, to help make sure doctors don't get a 21% plus cut in their reimbursement rate for Medicare patients, to make sure that the AMT, the alternative minimum tax, does not kick in for millions of Americans on January 1st. There's a lot of important business that has to be done to protect the economy, to protect Americans' pocketbooks, and we hope the Democrats will have the good judgment and the good grace to honor the will of the voters as expressed in the election and stop the tax increase January 1st, stop the AMT tax increase, and fund the government at bare minimum levels through early next year, and protect the doctors from getting their reimbursement rates cut, and otherwise get the heck out of town as soon as possible. Well, John Boehner will be the new speaker, and he is a good man with a heart of gold. He's a good conservative. He's got a long record as a conservative. I served with him when I first got here in 2001. He was the chairman of the Education Committee, and he really is a fine person. He is fairly low-key, and no conservative should doubt his conservative credentials. He is really a fine person, and I'm confident that he'll be a great speaker. He'll be the new speaker January 3rd. Eric Cantor, who's another solid, good conservative, will be the new majority leader. Kevin McCarthy will be the whip, and the Republican leadership team is in position. Jeb Hensarling of Texas will be our chairman of the Republican caucus. John Carter of Texas will be our secretary. I'm very hopeful and optimistic that Joe Barton will be the chairman of the Energy and Commerce Committee. We're going to have Lamar Smith as chairman of the Judiciary Committee. And Texans are going to be in key positions throughout the Congress. Kay Granger will be a chairman of a subcommittee on appropriations, as I will. Don't yet know which subcommittee. I'll be a chairman of a subcommittee on appropriations, and I'll have don't know where I'll be yet because it's unclear. But I will have the personal joy of zeroing out czars, which is really going to be wonderful. No matter which subcommittee I'm chairman of, I want to make sure that the Obama bureaucrats that appear before us they're going to have to identify the specific, explicit statutory authorization for any and every regulation that they issue. And if they can't show me where Congress gave them the specific and explicit authority to issue the regulations they're issuing, they get zero. Put the federal government back into the box the founders created with the Constitution to restore the checks and balances, the separation of powers, and above all the 10th Amendment, autonomous sovereign authority of the states, and the individual freedom of we the people to run our lives, control our money, control our families, and without interference from the federal government. We as federal government are reaching a point where the Obama administration, Pelosi, has spent so much money in so little time that we're literally right on the brink, if we're not careful, of seriously endangering the future prosperity of the country. So we have to dramatically cut spending. And as my hero Thomas Jefferson loved to say, if you simply apply Republican principles, the knot will always untie itself. And that is so true. If we will just follow the Constitution, if we will, as Dave Ramsey advises businesses who overreach and get in too much debt, retrench, focus on your core mission, shed any unnecessary expenses or obligations. Just focus, Dave Ramsey tells them, on what you do best as a business. We in the federal government need to do the same thing, to focus on our core mission as set forth in the Constitution, and shed all this extraneous stuff that we've been doing over the years that infringes on individual freedom, on state sovereignty, apply core Republican principles, and no matter what the problem is, the knot will untie itself, as Mr. Jefferson said.